We've had what you might call a spate of episodes about other Earth people trapped in this world. Today we have another one, but this one is a little different. Maybe more than a little. Right now, Stephen Fitzhugh, I still wonder why we don't call him Alex, or at least Alexander, since everybody else uses first names, but asking questions like that is a bit like talking to a wall. And everybody knows talking to a kitty is better than talking to a wall. What was I doing? Oh, right. Steve and Fitzhugh have been in town salvaging an electrical cord, probably something to do with repairing the ship. They have the cord, but carrying it is a little like trying to wrestle an earthworm. And they've got trouble.
What if he comes this far? Get down.
Steve said they went to a lot of trouble to get that cord, and now they have to leave it behind. The guard did see them, and he'll try to catch them, but that cord will serve them in one important way. It knew they were the good guys, so it jumped up and grabbed the guard's feet long enough for them to escape. You know there's a good chance you can survive in this place when some of the inanimate objects are on your side. It's dark enough in there that the guard can't see them. He calls in to his bosses and reports the sighting.
Captain Asham's office, Dr. Crowell speaking.
Sir, this is Officer 778. I got a report for Captain Asham.
Captain Asham's not here at the moment. I'll take the report.
If he looks familiar, you may know the story of how he shrank down to our size, made it to Earth, got married, and had a daughter named Violet. His daughter won a once-in-a-lifetime chance to tour a candy factory, but the tour didn't go all that great for either of them. So he bought himself a rocket ship and headed out to space, where he grew a mustache, put on a top hat, and built himself a traveling zoo. Things were going fine until he tried to make the Robinson family part of his zoo. Yep, that's our old pal Farnham, who first tried to enslave the family, then tried to force Judy to marry Dormammu because she won a beauty contest. For all that, the Robinsons decided he was okay. Then again, they kept forgiving Dr. Smith, so we know they weren't too bright. I'm not saying much about Leonard Stone, the actor, because there's not much to say since there's not much information out there. He was born, he grew up, studied acting, did a stretch in the Navy during World War II, and had a steady, if unspectacular, acting career for the rest of his life. He got married in 1964 and stayed that way until he died in 2011. I know I said his career was unspectacular, but sustaining a marriage in Hollywood through the entire second half of the 20th century is pretty spectacular in itself. And I have to admit, going from Farnham to playing this guy, the man has some acting chops.
I just spotted two of the little people.
Two of them? Are you sure of that?
Yes, sir. They got away from me.
What do you mean they got away from you?
They just disappeared, sir. I looked everywhere. In doorways, alongside buildings, even in a storm drain. I just couldn't find them anywhere.
Now listen carefully. Report this sighting to no one, understand? No one.
He seems more interested in the fact that there were two of them than anything else. And Captain whatever he said is most likely his boss, but it looks like he's telling the guard to go under the boss's head. The guard is on guard now, so Steve and Fitzhugh won't be able to go out the way they came in. Let's see where this pipe leads.
What is it? It's an electric conduit. It goes in there. But the other end is tapped into one of the city's power mains.
It's not OEM equipment for this drain pipe, so somebody put it there after the pipe was installed. Who and why?
I found a switch. Don't throw it! Isn't that what switches are for?
Whoever it was, I'm guessing they use a lot of electricity and the city has no idea where to send the bill. It looks like communications equipment, so we may as well see who's out there.
Some kind of signal.
is Shepherd Space Center, Brookside, Kentucky. We're trying to contact Exploration Flight 725.
It's Earth. You've contacted Earth.
I repeat, Exploration Flight 725. Do you read us?
Kentucky. It's not exactly Earth, but it'll do. Too bad the transmitter doesn't seem to work. They can hear the incoming call, but can't call out. This is going to require Mark's expertise. On a few side notes, what's Flight 725? Is this their gear? And how did they get it in here? We'll get the answer to one of those eventually.
Shepherd Space Center. Shepherd Space Center, come in.
If you're trying to find out if it works, you don't keep flipping switches while you're talking, Steve. For all you know, you flipped right past the one that works because you didn't pause to see if it did work.
Shepherd Space Center, come in.
Okay, the transmitter does work. It's just not reaching Earth.
Evidently, the officer's report was accurate.
Are we sure it was, Captain?
But he said 2 little people. Only one escaped from us 3 years ago.
And that answers that question. Scientist guy was puzzled that there were 2 because they only know of 1. Now they know there are more little people around here.
There must have been one that we never caught.
That's a shrewd deduction, Doctor.
You get the feeling they really don't like each other. The captain is in charge, but the doctor constantly chafes at it and often ignores the captain's orders. We can see why. The captain treats him like dirt. That was just a sample of the abuse he's going to get from his comrade in uniform.
I've waited for this moment. 3 long years. Now the transmitter's working again. This time we've got to find it.
Just find the little people. I promise you they'll tell us where the transmitter is.
3 years ago they didn't. They preferred to die.
Which is what they did, all but the one guy that escaped. Our captain wants to find the transmitter. We don't know why yet. And nothing he or the doctor did could make the little people talk. So they killed them one by one. You'd think after 1 or 2 the giants would figure out that this isn't working, but we're going to learn that both of these guys have exceptionally hard heads. The best thing their superiors could do is bash those 2 heads together repeatedly until something gives. But that's against regulations. Fitzhugh wants Steve to keep calling, but it's obviously not working and there's no point spinning their wheels on it. Steve would like some answers.
Who built this stuff?
How long ago?
And what happened to the Earth-sized spiders that made those cobwebs? And if the cobwebs caught anything, who ate who?
But the only way out is to the city street. The policeman might still be there.
Right. That's why you better stay here. One man will have a better chance. And Fitzhugh, don't touch this equipment while I'm gone.
Steve, you know as well as we do that there's a better chance of the giants obeying that order than Fitzhugh. You know he can't resist shiny knobs and blinking lights.
This is Shepherd Space Center, Brookside, Kentucky calling. Are you listening? Exploration Flight 725. Your reception signal is flashing here. If you are listening, we have a method of effecting your rescue.
Poor Fitzhugh. He's a product of his genetics and his own bad choices. He'll try to hold out and obey, but the word rescue pushes him over the top.
It's a little lower on the dial. Let's see, it's right about there.
I'm getting something.
Put it on the speaker.
Shepherd Space Center. Reply. Shepherd Space Center.
It's you idiot.
You're a bigger idiot for not assuming he'd do that the instant you turned your back. You should know him by now.
Mark, they've got patrols out with direction finders. They're going to get a fix.
I'll take care of that. They won't trace it now.
But won't they try to trace the jamming, and that'll lead them right here to the ship?
Oh, there's a way to handle that, too. Barry, bring those walkie-talkies in from the corridor locker.
He can adjust them so they too act as jammers. Valerie, Betty plus Barry, and Dan will take the walkie-talkies and spread out so we have a blanket jamming signal the giants can't trace to one spot. Steve and Mark will go back to the complex to give Fitzhugh a spanking and a timeout. The jammers are working. The captain is frustrated out of his skull.
That must mean that there are more of those creatures than we thought.
You have a marvelous gift, Doctor, for the obvious.
And nothing is more obvious than this, Captain. The more of those little people there are out there, the better our chances of capturing one.
It's not prisoners I want, it's that equipment.
For once, we have a giant who doesn't want to turn the little people into lab rats. He realizes that Earth technology is a good 50 years ahead of theirs, and he wants to study it and play catch-up. All their efforts 3 years ago were to that end: find their technology and reverse engineer it. Now, pretty much every person from Earth who's been stranded here knows these giants as a species are not nice people. If they figured out how to contact Earth, we have a fair idea what they'd do.
You get me one prisoner, just one, and I guarantee you'll have that equipment and fast.
No, thank you, Doc. 3 years ago, you had a whole group of them to question. They all preferred to die rather than talk. Now, that almost cost me my job. There'll be no more of your clever methods.
But this time, the doctor has a secret weapon. The thing is, as I said, these are not nice people. It wouldn't occur to him to try and help the little people survive, maybe even get back to their own world in exchange for some of the technology. Making a deal or an alliance seems foreign to their way of thinking. If they want something, they take it by force, and if you don't like it, they'll strap you to a table and dissect you. As a species, they don't need better technology. The rest of the universe is much better off with them stranded right here on their own screwed up world. It's a corpse. What do you think it's going to do to you? I've never understood that. Unless his name was Jesus, I don't think that guy's going to get up. The other men arrive about that time. The body has a microphone next to it. It appears he was trying to record a log.
If anyone finds this tape, listen well. Do not let equipment fall into giants' hands. If in danger of discovery, activate destruct lever. In 2 minutes, everything blows up.
The destruct lever is a basic knife switch on the opposite wall. It'd be nice if they didn't have to use it and could pack some of this stuff back to the ship instead. With all that gear to play with, I have a feeling Mark would think he'd died and gone to heaven.
You know, this is really something. And I might add, quite familiar.
What do you mean familiar?
All these components were built in one of my own plants.
Really?
A classified job for a special expedition about 3 years ago.
Flight 725, I presume. Steve says Shepherd Space Center is still trying to contact them. That's what we heard on the radio.
It was 3 years ago when they started out on a top-secret flight. They were never heard from again.
They must have been caught in the same space warp that we were.
At least at some point they must not have had too much trouble with the giants, since they found time to pack all this stuff in here, hook it up, tie it into the city's electrical grid, and all the rest. Sadly, we know what happened after that. Mark will stay here and work on fixing the transmitter, while Steve and Fitzhugh go tell the others what's happening. Betty, Barry, and Valerie are fine hanging out for a few more hours while Mark does his thing. Dan is another matter.
Dan!
Yeah.
What happened to you?
I think I dislocated my shoulder, trying to get away from one of the security police. The place is crawling with them.
Maybe I should help you back to the ship.
No. I'll be all right.
You sure now? Because I want you to stay a little longer on that radio.
I'll be all right.
Okay, look, if it gets worse, you go back to the camp, or else come to the complex.
Betty's the first aid expert. Does she know how to put a shoulder back together? And by the way, boys, watch your backs. That guard's expression reminds me of a dog who just fetched a stick and is expecting a pat on the head for doing it right. Dan has no choice. He leaves the jammer radio where it is and goes to tell the others.
What happened to you?
Never mind it now. Steve's been captured by the giants.
How?
What difference does it make? I left my radio back there with the squealer on. That way we can keep up the jamming while I'm gone.
You're not going after him hurt like that.
I'll send Mark.
Sure he will. And he'll have to go along as Mark's escort, naturally. Who are you trying to kid, Dan? But, contrary to my expectations, Dan stays.
Where's the transmitter?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You lie. I could crush you between these in less than a second. Do you realize that?
Yes, I realize that.
Do you realize that he's not intimidated? Neither were the others you interrogated. They were fine taking their secrets to the next life with them. Go ahead and crush him and then see how many answers you get, Dodo. He knows your threats aren't a big deal because you need him alive and able to talk. So try something else maybe? Nope. Threats and torture are all he knows. He's complained about his career, but I bet that rigid thinking like that is a big reason he's still only a captain. Remember I said the doctor has a secret weapon?
And that's the answer to all our problems?
That looks like something the Joker would build to try and get Batman. Either that or it could be the guts of a scuba diving rebreather. Unlike regular scuba tanks, this thing takes the air you exhale, recycles it, scrubs the CO2 out, adds a little more oxygen, and sends it back to you. This system allows divers to stay submerged a lot longer than conventional ones. As if either of these clowns could invent something that useful. It sprays a foam that makes the person that touches instantly agreeable. It works like sodium pentothal or other truth drugs, but since their syringe needles are the size of the little people's heads, he created a delivery system that goes through the skin. The captain is laughing almost as hard as I did.
3 years ago, when we captured that expedition, I gave you a free hand. And what happened to the prisoners?
That was pure miscalculation. I didn't realize then how fragile these little people are.
So now you have a different system that uses foam, which means you spray it on him and hope some of it gets on his skin. Which also means you have no way to meter the dosage you're giving him, so there's a good chance you'll get the same results as last time, and thanks to your ineptness, we'll have to cancel the show.
You let me have the toughest convict in your prison. I'll treat him with a little bit of the foam. If he doesn't talk freely, if he doesn't tell you everything that you want to know about him, then we'll abandon the idea.
He brings a guy in and they strap him to a chair. It's clear that lives mean nothing to these two. If you're not one of them, you're expendable for the sake of their pipe dreams. He takes the strap off and the guy doesn't move. He says, now you can ask him anything and he'll answer truthfully.
Are you guilty of any crimes for which you've not been punished?
Yes, many.
Are you prepared to write down for me a full list of all your crimes in detail?
Yes.
Looks like it works, and there's more.
I was planning to kill the guards and escape tonight.
How?
I have made a weapon. I will show you.
He has a makeshift shiv in his sock. He hands it to the captain and the test is done. Time to spray this stuff on Steve.
He's all yours.
They should have waited a little longer because their guinea pig is dead, and he just sprayed their tiny captive with the same amount of that stuff. The doctor wants to examine the body and find out what happened. The captain doesn't care. He's had enough of the doctor's alchemy misfires. The doctor will have some guards take the body to his lab. The captain got some of the foam on his hand, so he'll run to the restroom to wash it off. While all that has been happening, Dan reached the drain pipe and told Mark what happened. Mark has made his way into the room, watched all that happen, and now the giants are gone, so it's time to get Steve out of there.
Wipe that foam off your hands, quick! I'm coming up! Wipe it off!
The foam's effects have Steve thoroughly dazed, so it'll take several tries to get him to do anything. When Mark said he was coming up, I wondered why. Just throw the hook up there, have Steve secure it, and climb down. But considering the shape Steve is in, getting him down from there is going to take a little more effort than that.
Steve, look. There's something you've got to know.
Steve, pay attention to me.
In 2 minutes, the rest of our group will be in the basement of this building. They're going to blow it up.
We have to destroy Captain Asham and the security police. We have to keep them from finding out where our secret transmitter is.
I'm not sure when we made that plan, but it's definitely a good incentive to get out of here. The captain is coming back, so Mark puts Steve back in place, gathers the rope, and hides.
Where is your secret transmitter?
It's an abandoned drain pipe. It lies underground in the forest area near the city.
There are many abandoned drains that used to empty into the forest. Can you guide me to this particular one?
Yes, I can.
Mark asked Steve if he was going to tell the captain all that, and Steve said, of course, it's the truth. There's nothing Mark can do about it either.
And will your little friends be there so that I can capture them?
No, they won't.
All right. Where can I find them?
Right now, they should be in the basement of this building. They're going to blow it up.
Mark, you great, big, beautiful genius, you. Captain Asham raises the alarm, and he, along with everyone else, heads for the basement. The way is clear to get out of here. As I said, it takes a little more effort than usual to get Steve out of there, which is to say Mark has to guide him every step of the way as though he's a small child. The only hitch in the plan is Mark can't get the hook loose from the telephone dial, so he has to leave the rope. They've already made it under the door, so searching this room won't help much.
Now look everywhere. There may be more than one of them. I'll find them. Find them all.
We may be 50 years ahead of them in technology, but clearly they were way ahead of us in creating Pokemon. By the time Mark and Steve reach the drain pipe, Steve's head is clearing. I hope he gets a good laugh when Mark tells him about the line of crap he fed the captain. Speaking of the captain, as if he doesn't have enough headaches, the doctor is back with his machine.
Captain, I found the answer.
So the foam did kill the convicts.
Yes, but I know why. I left it on the man's skin too long. Actually, the foam should remain in contact with the skin no more than a few minutes. If it's wiped off within that time, it's completely harmless.
In other words, he overdosed. You can't say I didn't warn you about not being able to meter your dosages.
Your direction finders proved that the jamming comes from various parts of the forest, right?
Go on.
Well, if we go out there, sooner or later we're bound to catch some of those little people. And one is all we need. My foam will do the rest.
And what if it kills him like it did the convict?
Who cares?
You should, because there's every possibility it'll do that before you can get any information.
Look, you and I are the only officials who know about the foam. If it kills one of them, we simply won't report it.
And then you still don't have one to tell you where the transmitter is. Great plan, Doc. And the captain will go along with it. In the pipe, Mark says in about half an hour they should be able to contact Earth, but to finish the job he needs the jamming as high as possible. Steve will tell Valerie and Betty, and since Dan is injured, Fitzhugh will take his spot.
It's still squealing.
It's not loud enough. Turn the volume up full.
You'd think after last time Steve would remember to check his surroundings. He didn't.
Come out. Little man, come out before that foam kills you.
We know Fitzhugh is already weak in the will department, so the foam has an easy time with him.
Your people have a hidden transmitter. Do you know about it?
Yes,
What is its purpose?
to contact Earth and arrange for a rescue expedition.
Exactly what I suspected.
Do you know the location of the transmitter?
Yes,
Can you lead us to it?
follow me.
He doesn't want them rescued. They belong to him. It's not like they're real people or something. I mean, look at them. They're little people. Fitzhugh will lead them to the pipe just as Mark is finishing and ready to see if he can contact Earth.
Come in, Shepard Space Center.
Get it! We've got to destroy the equipment right now.
We hear you. Speak up.
I said forget it.
Forget it. Are you insane?
The Giants are on their way. They know where we are.
How?
They used the foam on Fitzhugh.
I'm on the verge of making contact. I only need a few more minutes.
We don't have a few more minutes.
He's already made contact. What's he need to do for 5 minutes before he contacts them again?
Steve, wait a minute. Don't you understand? We've got to destroy the complex.
Steve, I need at least 5 more minutes. If you touch that
Mark, he cleaned your clock the last time you did this. Are you sure you want more? See, you broke it anyway. May as well throw the switch and get out of here. Really, Dan? And now there's nothing for it but to make tracks. Fitzhugh has brought the two giants to the pipe entrance. He says there's another exit so you won't be able to catch the others who are in there. He tells them where it is, and the captain calls some of his guards to watch it. He wants to dig the equipment out.
What, and risk destroying the equipment? This is a better idea.
Yeah, digging would risk destroying it. Instead, let's flood all that electronic stuff with a liquid foam. That'll fix it.
The other way.
If they're lucky, they can get to the other exit before the guards do.
Now what? There's no way out. Then we'll make a way out. Start digging.
They're not that far below the surface, so if they can dig fast enough, where's that gopher when you need him? Oh, right. It takes a super-duper heavy-duty washing machine to make a mess that big, and you don't want to know how much soap.
Who knows what this may lead to, Doctor? In a year or so, we may be able to find a way to reach the planet of these little people. It's small, but must be rich beyond our dreams.
And all that rich will be there for the taking, right, Captain? It never fails. And just think what that could do for his career.
Crowd! Get on the shoe! Quick!
They ride out on his shoe. I love it. Irwin, you are a mad genius. That is so perfect, I couldn't think of something better if I had to. Not only will his shoe get them out of there so they can run away, it'll shield them from this. Fitzhugh was far enough away that he's more dazed from the effects of the foam than he is from the explosions. The captain and the doctor, on the other hand, didn't have any giant shoes to shield them, and they were much closer than Fitzhugh.
He's dead. Both of them.
I guess the captain won't have to fret over his career anymore. This show is taking a bold step that Lost in Space couldn't bring itself to. We're willing to kill when it's necessary. Our band of castaways didn't actually kill these guys. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time, but the result is the same. Typical shows of this type had a tendency to avoid death, as we saw in Lost in Space. Here, the gloves are off. They have to survive and keep the giants from getting access to Earth. If that means something like this happens, so be it. Lost in Space started out that way, witnessed the one-eyed giant in the first season. But as the show went along, we got more and more cautious and campy, and the sense of reality where lives genuinely are at stake got lost. Here, we're not afraid to face that idea head on. These guys tried to do a bad thing and paid the price. C'est la vie. Et c'est la mort. As for our heroes, they were so close. but they didn't even get a chance to tell Kentucky who they were. Mark was angry at Steve for stopping the conversation, but it was nobody's fault, not Steve's or even Fitzhugh's. If we have to find fault in someone, let's direct it where it belongs. Irwin Allen and William Welch. They wrote it that way, so it's their fault. So there. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please click the thumbs up. It really does help the channel. If you're not subscribed yet, the button looks something like this. So click it and join our little family. There's a bell there that may or may not actually work to give you notifications when we post something, but it can't hurt to click it just in case. You can also join our Patreon for as little as $2 a month and help me keep expanding and improving the channel. The link is in the description, along with links to a lot of other fun stuff I do. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Yes, Zim. Yes. Yes. This is my puppy. His name is Zim, after Invader Zim. And everybody knows that my puppy Zim is ruining the shot.